Welcome back to the Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Hope you guys having a great week. Happy Tuesday to you guys. Welcome into the Real. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, gonna get right to it today. As you see here, we got the film breakdown from week two, the Browns against the Baltimore Ravens. And after watching a lot of the film, um, looking back at a lot of things from the game and thinking about it after watching it again and watching plays over and over. A lot of my emphasis today offensively. I'm going to do offense and defensive breakdown today, and a lot of my emphasis offensively is going to be on the offensive line. I think the offensive line right now not where it needs to be. I think there was some improvements in the running game this week from the backs, but overall, to me, from the offensive line, there's still a lot of bad habits. I think they're still going to trying to break from last year, and I think just things they still need to work on and get better at. And then I think also too, I think just some of the passing plays this game wasn't. I got a couple I think queued up that just weren't very good. I thought Joe Flacco missed a couple throws. I think some of the pressure was getting there. Obviously, it was making him try to hit the check downs. Running game could get going consistently until later on in the game. The ones that did get going on, probably about second quarter, when Juckins came in, I thought it's when the spark started to happen with the running game. We didn't really commit to it a whole lot. We threw the ball 45 times, only ran it 22, I believe. So and then defensively, all my issues defensively is in the secondary. That's a lot of all my tape's going to be on defensively today. It's just in the secondary. That'll be the second part of this video is defense. And front seven's great. Front seven right now in terms of rushing defense, Browns are number one in the NFL for through 2 weeks. So you can see it on tape just when you watch it. The rushing defense, the front seven, which I liked in the preseason going into the season, is absolutely has been phenomenal. So, but the back seven to me is where there's a lot of issues. And when you have an offense that can't sustain drives and it's constantly three and out, eventually as the game goes on, I think like we saw Sunday, yeah, we can stop the team like a team like Baltimore from running, but eventually they're going to start motion or not motioning, but rolling Lamar out of the pocket and throw the ball downfield. A lot of times that's where we get beat, guys, in miscommunication and extended plays, and especially in the red zone. Our pass coverage in the red zone is not that good. So, yeah, a lot to get into. So, let's get to it. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with the offense here. Like I said, we'll get to the first running play here. A lot of these plays still will be running plays. It's here we go. Browns come out with the ball first, and they're going to motion thrash the other side. This is going to be a handoff here to Juckins on the right side. And you can see Roquan Smith was able to get back there and blow it up immediately. Obviously, he had a really good game. And so a couple things here that I see on this play. It's particularly a lot of my issues, mainly in this game with the offensive line, is from here, the center, and the right side of the line. This whole group here, to me, I think needs a lot of improvement. I think they all need improvement as a whole, but a lot of the plays I saw that stood out to me were from here, from center to the right tackle. And so you can see right here, number 71 here, the right tackle. They have two guys on the three tech here, and Roquan's able to get right out here. And you see Batonio's pulling to the other side. And I just think when I watch this play, there's definitely a miscommunication here. Either between him, he's supposed to pull to the backer, or is Batonio supposed to? I think Batonio's supposed to usually hit the edge when you're pulling across. He's not expecting a guy to hit a blitzer unless the play is to here. So let's watch one more time. And I think the play was designed for him to bounce out. Either these 71 here did not pull to Roquan Smith, or Batonio was able maybe was supposed to pull up that gap if the play was to this gap, or was it to the outside? If it's to the outside, then that's on 71. If it's to the B gap here, then Batonio should have pulled and went up the B gap and took Roquan out of the play. And that may have been something up the crease here. You never know, at least 5 yards. But again, first play of the game, and you get nothing out of it. It looks like a miscue off the jump. And you see a lot of that from this offensive line in this game. We'll go to the next play now. I believe it's this one right here. Yeah, this is the screen pass. And particularly here, we'll watch Ethan Pochich here. Poachich, again, this is a screen pass, so he's going to hold for a second, like they're trying to set up the sky, and he's supposed to run out there and to lead block for Dylan Sampson here, who's going to be going out and trying to catch the ball on the screen. And you can see right here, he's a little late. Sampson's already taken off out there, right there. Now he's really late. You see how slow he got out, just getting out there. And he's not able to get out there. Kyle Hamilton's able to come down, and then a clear shot right at Dylan Sampson. Obviously, Kyle Hamilton, a very good safety. And boom, I mean, a clean shot. And we watched that one more time. Again, I think the offensive line looks a lot older, but you could tell just by their speed how they're able to get out on some of their poles and on some of these screenplays. And he should already be right here. You would like him to be right here, ideally, because the ball's getting thrown now. So as soon as Sampson turns upfield, boom, we got a hat on him. And ideally, we're trying to create the crease here for him to get upfield. You got 3 guys coming out there, and not a single person gets touched. And so you can't have that. Again, 3 guys getting out there on a screenplay and nobody got blocked at all. And especially obviously the guy who's supposed to be inside didn't block the guy he was supposed to block at all. Didn't get a hand on him, nothing. And it's a blown play. Very slow developed play. And I think that's what the Browns are right now with this play in particular. It's a great example of it with just Flacco looks kind of slow. And the offensive line looks very old and slow. And that's a lot of what you see on these plays are not able to execute because they just look old and slow. All right, so this next play I've queued up here. Next play, let's take a look at it. I'm just really confused of what we're trying to do here because it just looks like a wasted play. So again, Flacco drops back. You could dump it down here to the back. Obviously, his progression's this way. I get what he sees here. I think he sees a window here with Isaiah Bond, but it isn't the 3 guys in the area. It is a tight window because you got to think it's a longer throw down the field. So by the time the ball gets there, these guys will be closing in. You see the safety's already moving down, and just completely airmailed. And so, plays like that, I just think I saw a lot of this in the game from Flacco where he's throwing the ball out of bounds immediately. Just like it looks like it was like a design play just to throw it out of bounds and you watch it how it was executed. But I get the window he's trying to see there. It's a play action play. He's got a little pressure on the right side. Again, I'd like to see him though right here. Maybe just step up. I get you're trying to jam the ball out there. Flacco, older player, veteran. He likes to, throw the ball in tight windows. I think it's a throw he's probably made in the past at times. I don't think a lot because again, you got 3 guys. It's a tight window, and Isaiah Bond is not the tallest of guys, and it's just airmailed out of bounds. And again, I think just plays like that, we had a lot of these plays in this game, and it's just, to me, bad execution. Again, this is 2nd and 6. And, usually on 2nd down, teams will like to take a shot a lot of times. That's usually the tendency. But I just feel like we can do something a little more efficient here. I just don't think this is an efficient play call. I don't think this is executed properly. Oh, I mean, it was executed, but I just think that from Flacco's standpoint, I think if I'm Flacco, right here, I see a safety coming down. I think if Flacco's just a little more patient, I get it's a timing throw in terms of there's only a certain window you got to be able to get the ball out right here. I get what he sees, but I like to maybe see him step him in the pocket. I mean, I know you got some pressure coming, and again, that right side is not very good. And Cornelius Lucas again gets beat. And that a lot of that play is because of that as well. I was going to get to that in a second. We'll get to that now, the end zone play. But again, I get what we're trying to do. It's a tight window throw. You're trying to get a big play out of it, but sometimes I feel like the Browns be better suited if they get more in a rhythm first and then start to take some of those shots down the field. Be a little more calculated. I feel like sometimes we just kind of call plays and just hope it works. Like, let's just like in 2nd down, maybe we'll take a shot. We'll see if this works. Like, I feel like everything we do is just very like we think we have a good probability of executing it. And so again, let's take a look here from the back view at the right tackle. As you can see right there, he leans forward. He loses the his hands get thrown off by the DN. At the end has a nice job ripping through. and ceiling, and gets a shot on Flacco a little bit. And so again, your right tackle also can't hold the block for more than 2 seconds, and that's an issue in itself. But 2nd and 6, now you're on 3rd and 6, and this is kind of why I thought the Browns found themselves a lot of times in 3rd and longs because of their first and second down play calling. Football is very situational. First and second down go together. Third down is a situation itself because you have to execute it so you get out to you don't get the fourth down where you have to punt most likely. And so red zone's a situation in itself. But first and second down usually always go together. And I feel like our first and second down play calling is just not very good. And that's why a lot of times on third down, we're 3rd and long. So here we go now. In the next play, 2nd and 14. Browns have the ball on the 36-yard line. And so let's take a look here at the play. Flacco drops back, and not a whole lot going there. And so let's take a look at this play from the end zone view here, because this is a offensive line again in pass pro. And you can see now we have number 72 in the game. We don't have DeJuan out there. We have number 72 now. And let's take a look at the play. And you can see right there, I think something is obviously wrong here because, number one, you have Wyatt Teller's literally, he's got a hand on a guy, but you have him and Pochich are basically blocking nobody because Petonio is really head on with number 98 here, and 92 is Cornelius Lucas's guy. And so I believe that's his name, Cornelius Lucas, number 71, the right tackle. So you have Wyatt blocking nobody, but you have a free rusher here in Owe. I mean, just he has a free shot right at the quarterback, and it completely blows this play up. This play was never had a shot to develop because this guy here, number 72, who I don't know if DeJuan to come out for play, whatever it was, I can't remember, but you got a guy blitzing here up the corner, and let's see. I think they showed blitz pre-snap. He looks that direction, and this guy, it was the corner blitzed. I think we got beat there with the corner blitz. Obviously, that's what threw them off. Let's take a look from the side view again. So this corner is going to be right here, this DB. I believe it's him, or is it the safety? No, excuse me, the safety comes down. All right, so they've come down with the safety. And that definitely threw us off. And so, but again, I think, oh man, a lot of these plays, man, just busted plays because we can't protect the quarterback. And number 72, I mean, you got to be aware of this. I mean, you got to at least put a hat on somebody. He does try to block the safety at the end. And you can see the safety coming down too. Like he's coming down to the box now. Like right there, the offensive line should be looking up. 72 should be he should be pointing out that guy right now, and they should be all identifying this. But again, I don't see proper communication here. You could tell just by the way the play was executed. Going back to this view now. So again, they come down right there. Right here, the safety's coming down. Nobody sees him. He's down in the box. He's showing that he could blitz. Right there. There's 72. Flacco, I guess maybe doesn't see him. Nobody sees him. And look what happens. We have 3 guys blocking one guy blocking literally nobody, and it's a 2-on-1. He don't know who to block, and it's a busted play. Bad communication, bad execution. But again, a lot of this stuff, like we see in the secondary later on defensively, bad communication. And when you have bad communication problems, I start to wonder what your practice habits are. Personally, that's just me, because that's where really all this stuff is queued up. If bad teams play in silence. Great teams, they're always talking, they're always communicating. The Browns right now, they're a bad team, and by their communication, you can tell they're a bad team because their communication is horrible. And so again, like I said off that last play, the Browns' communication skills right now are just not very good on both sides. Well, but I think with this offensive line in particular, I think you're looking at an offensive line that a group as old as they're older and these guys are veterans, but they weren't a very well coached group last year. I mean, the guy that they hired, Andy Dickerson, that came in, there was a complete drop off from the beginning of the season. You put him in a whole new system, a lot of newer concepts in that system last year, and by the end of the year, you also had Mike Vrabel was coaching offensive lineman, who's a defensive guy, not the guy you hired in Andy Dickerson. So I think a lot of what we're seeing is just these bad habits, and guys are just kind of, little clueless here. But let's take a look at the rookie here, Harold Fannin. He's going to come across the screen here and a wham block. This is a run play to Juckins. You can see right there. And this play doesn't really get anywhere. And I'm just wondering what he was trying, because you can see Taylor's on the ground here. And the reason why Teller's on the ground is because he got blocked by his own man from behind. Look at Fannin. He just blocks Teller. And I get he's trying to get the Marlon Humphrey. I think his. Let's take a look one more time. But I don't. Let me take a look from the end zone here. Something is definitely wrong on this play on this side here. And so let's take a look. And so that, to me, right there is a lot of the issue. DeJuan Jones. Let's take a look at DeJuan Jones. And if I'm DeJuan Jones, the guy I'm trying to get to is right here. He's right above you because you know you're pulling you're pulling Teller, right? So Teller should be getting this guy. I get what DeJuan's trying to do here. I think he's trying to hold this guy basically like a bump and switch where he taps this guy, goes to that guy, knowing Fannon's going to come around and clean it up. So the play was obviously designed to go this way. Nice job by Juckins cutting back. You can see he's got really nice bounce and wiggle to get through. Just not a whole lot there. But again, I just think there's something. This play was not executed properly, obviously. And when you have a guy blocking the ass of his own teammate, something's not right here. Guys are getting pushed back. You see Petonio. He's high right here. You see how high he is on his leverage. DeJuan Jones standing straight up. Ethan Pocic, he has good. A little too high for me. You can see right there. But he does a nice job holding with his hands and has good, next to him get a little lower there. But I think a lot of it too, we look at Petonio there as well. As you can see, Petonio right there, so he gets stood up immediately. And I think that's a lot of why this play got blown up as well, because Joel Petonio is not able to get low in the block and seal it. And Harold Fannon's not able to get to Marlon Humphrey. And so, again, sometimes I got to watch these plays back a couple times, guys, just to refresh my memory too, because. And I watched this play again. Yeah, definitely was supposed to go this way. I think Teller does a nice job getting out there. But Joel Petonio just gets blown out the ball here. And he gets stood straight up, and the alley was never created. And that's a lot of what we see with this Browns team. Either miscommunication, like we saw, bad spacing, or, we got a guy blocking his own teammate here. That means something's wrong, obviously. That means, the alley that they're trying to create is not created, because you see he's trying to get the Marlon Humphrey. So they do a nice job. I thought DeJuan did a nice job getting up to the second level and going to the other back, right here. Get a hand out. But again, he's trying to get to that guy. That's what it's designed. It's supposed to be Fannin that's coming and clean out Marlon Humphrey. But Joel Petonio, I just see a lot of guys standing straight up here. We got one guy pushing our own guy out of the way. And he could have made that tackle possibly because of that. But a lot of it, this play was combusted due to Joel Petonio getting just stood straight up. But I see a lot of guys standing straight up on their blocks. And again, that's bad technique. Guys aren't getting low. They're not driving. They're not, getting good position on their blocks, creating the alleys, creating the holes. I got a couple other plays where this happened. And I think, again, this offensive line, they're older, but they're just their fundamentals right now are bad. They're just bad fundamentals all around. And I think it's going to take them a while to clean those up because, again, they weren't coached properly last year. And so here we go again. It's second down, 2nd and 8. And, talk about guys getting stood straight up, guys not having good leverage and hand placement, just good fundamentals. And let's take a look at this play here. Another example. Let's watch Wyatt Teller here, the right guard, number 77. As you can see, was it right? No, excuse me. That's my apologies. I got my notes mixed up. My apologies. Sometimes I do that, no, this was the Dylan Sampson play. Okay. That was my notes for the last play. It was actually, we saw it was Petonio that got blown up. So my apologies. I like to do these notes ahead of time, guys, so I can, know what I'm looking at when I get to that play. Because a lot of times I get these plays together the night before because I don't have time during the day sometimes to cue them all up. But yeah, this is Dylan Sampson here who gets blown up by Roquan Smith. And let's take a look here from the end zone view. And again, this is another play that, second down, again, 1st and 2nd down, this wasn't a play calling issue here. This play was just not executed properly because we can't block. As you can see here, we got little 5'8" Dylan Sampson, who has been impressive this year. I like Dylan Sampson, but he's going head up on the linebacker here, and that's not a fair match, and it blows the play up. And so, let's take a look again. Again, but he just again, it's a mismatch. It's a head-on collision. I'd like to see Dylan go lower and just try to take him out of the play, or at least try to drop that right shoulder, and you got to at least thump him a little bit or a lot, or go low. But again, he tries to go square at him, and he gets blown right off just thrown right off of him. It's a blown play. And let's take a look what this could have been here. So again, 2nd and 8, and now because of that, we're in 3rd and long again. And you can see Flacco never was able to really set his feet and look down the field, because if he was able to, he might have had that there, because he was moving out that way. It was 1-on-1 here with Judy on the backside. Not on the back, or on the right side, excuse me. But again, because we can't seal a block, play's blown. Another blown play. And they might have actually had something here in the middle of the field as well with Tillman, because that backer was moving this way. You can see right here, that backer's moving, dropping down in coverage. And this guy, Tillman, if he keeps running, he might have had a window right here to Flacco at time. He may be able to hit him on a big play. So again, another missed opportunity. But what are we? We're in 3rd and long again, because we can't either. What we saw earlier with some of the play calling, our 1st and 2nd down are not great, but also we just can't execute either basic stuff. I can't blame it. I can't just sit up here and just say, hey, play calling this and that, when guys can't execute basic things. We're missing blocks. We're not communicating well. We can't block blitzers as running backs, which is your job in a pass pro. I'm really curious, though, to see how much longer Kevin Stefanski, though, will keep Dylan Sampson out of those passing downs like that, in those situations where he's going to be blocking for Flacco. Will you put a Jerome Ford or a Quinshon Judkins out there more, who are a little bigger and more stockier, maybe better pass blockers as well? I'd be curious to see what he does from here on out in that situation. All right, so the next play here, and this next play, this is the play I actually had about Wyatt Teller here. So let's take a look at the play. Watch the right guard here, number 77. Again, 3rd and long now. This is the very next play. After that, okay, that's the last play. Here's the next play, 3rd and 8 now. And so let's take a look here. Look at the side view. And so this is a textbook here, what they did. I'll break down this stunt here they run. So this stunt here they run, some people call it twist. I know some coaches I know call it a rodeo because it's a round. Again, you'll see why in a second. Although some people have different stunt terminology for that. When I was in high school, that's what we called it. That was our 2 terms to keep it simple as high schoolers. I'm sure in the NFL it's a lot more, little different. But basically what this stunt is here, though, you see what this guy does here at the 3 tag. He's going to run right at the right tackle. His job is to get this right tackle to set, right? Once he gets that guy to set, what happens is you see how he draws 2. And when he draws 2, guess what happens now? We round this guy, twist him around the corner, and it's a free shot now at the quarterback because they're not communicating this properly. Cornelius gets put out of place. So you can see, I don't know what he's standing straight up. His footwork's terrible here. You can tell just by the way his knees are pointing in the direction. Now he gets low, but by that time it's too late, because this guy, Wyatt Teller tries, but you got to remember how fast these DNs are getting around the corner. Some of these guys. That's Kyle Van Noy. I believe that's Van Noy still there. Number 53. And it looks like he might have pulled his hamstring on that play. But again, it was a hell of a stunt, though. Let's take a look. And it blows the play up, because now you flush Flacco out of the pocket. And if I'm the Ravens, that's what I want, because look how slow. Just from here, him from going to here was the slowest run you may have seen from a quarterback in recent memory, how athletic these guys are nowadays. And number 43, let's take a look at his numbers. Number 53, excuse me. That is Kyle Van Noy. Looked like Van Noy might have pulled his hamstring on that play. Let's watch him right here, because he had a free shot, and you can see right there he pulls up and grabs the back of his left leg. Looks like a little hamstring issue, or maybe a cramp. But Again, this is a great stunt here, well executed by the Ravens. If I'm the Browns, though, I need Cornelius to be a little better be down and more of a better pass protection here, where I'm able where he can able where he'll be able, excuse me, to get more leverage. And I'd like to see Harold Fannin block a little better. I think as great as Harold Fannin's been, his blocking needs to improve overall. And that's going back to the preseason, breaking down that film. He's a hell of a player. Love Harold Fannin. Now, again, he's a rookie, so I give him some grace. But ideally, how this should be executed here, if on the Browns, again, you have 3-on-2 here. You should be able to, right about here, you know what they're running. As soon as he starts to go that way, you see his foot planting that way, you know they're running that stunt. And so I would like to see Harold Fana bump this guy, right? Get a hand, thump him, get a hand on. And what that does is it gives them a split second to recover, because now he can get a hand on this guy, and it gives Taylor an opportunity to be able to start getting leverage out there to seal Van Noy to take that out. And then Harold Fana releases out here, right, to the check down. And so if Fannon's able to bump a little better there, Cornelius gets down on a better stance with his feet and just getting better leverage and slide to the left a little more, I think. And now right here, if that was able to happen, I think Taylor would have been able to get a body on Van Noy right about there, or right in front of him. He could have been right here instead and be able to cut that off. And it would give Flacco more time, obviously, to scan the field. And even if nothing was open down here, he could at least hit the check down here to get some yards out of that, or even hit the Joku right here, who's great in space. So again, bad communication, bad fundamentals, and just overall just bad blocking. All right, so here we go now on this play. It's 1st and 10, right? And the Browns are on their own 40 on the Baltimore's 42-yard line, excuse me. So they're in plus territory here. You want to try to get some points out of this. Again, the score at this time is 10-0, so you need to get some points here. Ideally, like a touchdown. You got a good drive going here. And so let's take a look. And let's watch number 71 here, Cornelius Lucas. Now he runs out here and just blocks nobody. It's like he's just out going for a jog. And so this play is blown up from the jump. Let's take a look from the back a few years. So again, they're running the ball, first down. You like to get some 4 or 5 yards out of this. Keep you in schedule. And obviously watch Roquan Smith here as he comes right through, untouched, and bam. It's just, yeah, another blown up play. As you can see right here, pre-snap, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys down in the box, right? And so it's a pretty loaded box here. So knowing your assignment is very important, especially going to run the ball against this. As you can see, they're going to pull Pochich and Batonio to the outside. And I'd like to see Cornelius Lucas here run more at an angle this way. And you see how, Roquan Smith defensively, you're known as, you want to know how to get to your pursuit angles, have great knowledge in the area of what angles to take. And he takes a great angle here, rallies and tackles pretty well, is able to blow up the play. Very impressive. But if I'm Cornelius Lucas here, right here, I'm running right at an angle, flat. I'm running flat and getting my body. I just got to get your body on him and try to slow him down so this play can develop. He's the far side back, so you have to be able to just get a body on him. But again, I'm really curious what Cornelius' assignment here was, and I'm also curious what's going on here between Pochich and Batonio. Let's take a look. Okay, so now we see it. So as the play develops, they do a great job getting down and sealing their blocks. Great pad level. I mean, Joel's a little high for my liking. I like to see him get a little lower. But he does a nice job with his hand placement. Almost got away with a hold though. But got to get lower. So let's take a look. So again, we see those guys get to the outside. And yeah, I'd like to see Cornelius, instead of going for a jog and blocking nobody, we need to see him, again, knowing your assignment, fundamentals, right? You can see right here, they got 8 down in the box. He's the far side back. You know the run play is going this way. So you need to get your body out there and run this way. He needs to run right there. See the hash mark? Run right off that hash. You cut off that angle. You have to cut his angle off as an offensive lineman. Really push her. He really could have, if he runs the right angle, could have drove him right into the ground. Right there. He should have already met him, pushed him out of the way, So now we're able for this play to develop. And Samson, you could have got something out of this because these two, Pochich and Petoni, do a great job getting out to the edge of the ceiling here. If he, I mean, right here, if he's got, if you know, Roquan Smith had a body on him, Samson going to the outside with his speed, he might have turned this upfield. And who knows what he could have got out of that? Hell, he could have been going down the sideline. But again, we get nothing because we have a guy who just took a bad angle at the backer and blocks nobody. And just they look very slow and just lethargic and just kind of, you got to know what you're doing here. And I just feel like sometimes when I watch these plays again, it's like, do we know what we're doing here? Do we understand why we have to block this guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like the know-how. I just don't see that. I don't see the details. I don't in the execution. And to me, that's kind of goes back to preparation a lot of times as well. And just, guys having awareness of what to do. And so here we are. We're in 3rd and 8 again. Again, this is the same drive. You can see they're in the same side of the field, same area, around the 40. Same drive. This is 3rd down now. So second down, excuse me, they got a 3-yard completion to Joku, trying to get some yards. But because again that first down, was blown up again, and this is how the game went for the Browns. This is how the Browns have been since last year. A lot of times they're constantly in 3rd and long. And here we are again. We're 3rd and 8. We're not on schedule. So now, we have to make something here. And ideally, you want to go to your receiver here that you paid almost $20 million to in Jerry Jeudy. And that's what they do here. Flacco's going to go to Jeudy. He's going to get a little pressure here, but he does a nice job getting the pass off to Jeudy. So you can see here, calls the audible. Gets a little pressure coming from the backside. They blitz off the edge here at the end. But Flacco sees the window here. You see Jeudy. He knows where Judy's going. He's right at the sticks. And Jeudy gets great position here. Really, he gets down where Flacco can only throw. He's got a little pressure, throws it low, so the defender can't challenge it, and he drops it. You got to catch that pass. Jerry Jeudy, he's supposed to be wide receiver number 1. We saw this last week at times where guys were dropping passes. He dropped a crucial one on that 4th down right here. You got to catch the ball again, because if we're able to catch this, even if he's just short, at least now we got 3rd and 1, and we should be able to, or 4th and 1, excuse me, we should be able to convert that. And we get nothing. We get nothing out of it because we can't catch the ball. Again, it's just little things like this: execution, communication. These are all things, in my opinion, and a lot of coaches would say, go back to practice habits. The Browns, it's the same stuff over and over again. Just like little simple things that they just cannot execute. Catching the ball, knowing your blocks, knowing your assignment, communicating in certain situations, knowing situational football. Like the lack of awareness to me is very it's always been bad since really last year to this year. But just watching it again after a full off season and coaching staff changes on your offense and on the opposite side of the ball, and to still see some of the same issues, to me, it's like, what are we doing in camp? What are we doing in the off season? Like, this stuff should be cleaned up. This is stuff that you should never have to worry about all the time. But Jerry Jeudy, again, and go back to Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy dropped, I think he led the league in drops last year, if I'm not mistaken, or was high up there in the rankings. And here he is again through 2 games. He's dropped the ball in 2 critical points of the game. And it's like, where's the emphasis on correcting these things in the offseason? And that's where I start to get a little weary of like, hey man, what's going on in our practice? What's our coaching staff? Like, what is the culture looking like in Berea? Because what I see is just not very good. It's not a good culture, not a lot of accountability, and nobody's really getting better. Honestly, nobody's getting better. Like, these rookies look good this year so far. Can they continue it? And how will they look from year 1 to year 2? That'll be the big question. Like, but based on the habits I've seen on the field, that I think it's just from bad practice habits, that stuff's not really coached up. I wouldn't bet my money on it that they'll continue this, because I just think it's the culture and just the way things are structured. It will prevent it from guys from getting better. So here we go now in the next play. It's 2nd and 6. It's 10-0 still. You got the ball on the 44-yard line. You got a shot here before the half to get some points. Or you'd like to get a touchdown here. And so let's watch this play here. They're going to pass the ball on 2nd down. right? Some pre-snap audibles, and watch Wyatt Teller here. Just he's 1-on-1. It just gets blown up. Yeah, just the play gets blown up. And also, let's look at Cedric Tillman also right here. You can see Cedric Tillman getting out of his break here at the top of the route, right there. When he cuts back inside, he just loses his footing and falls down. He was trying to play it off like there was a flag. I don't think there was a flag there. I think he just fell down. But again, we can't run our routes cleanly. We're falling down off our routes. And our right guard can't hold a guy from more than, let's count it here. Skinny drops back, right here. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. He's getting pushed back, and he gets sacked. But a lot of that play, when I watched that again, though, that's not all on Wyatt Teller. Again, I think Wyatt Teller did a good job holding as long as he could. Now, he does get bulldozed back. I like to see him get a little lower. You see right there. See how high he is? He's very high. He's grabbing the top of the guy's shoulder pads. Right there. He's a little too high for me. You want to be lower so you don't get driven back. Because I think if Flacco's able to see right there, if Flacco's able to hold that, he should be able to just hit Njoku on the check down. But he's getting some pressure now. He's pumped back, and Teller just loses the block completely. Now we get sacked. So not only do we get sacked, but we're in negative territory. We're in our own territory now. And again, another second down play where we just can't do basic things. We can't run a route cleanly. We can't hold we're not blocking properly. We're standing straight up on our blocks. We're getting just bulldozed back. And we can't execute. And then we get sacked for a loss. It's just like the two little things. Not going to run a route cleanly and getting low in your block. Let's take a look from the end zone view here. Let's take a look here. You see he's standing straight up right there. He's up. He gets pushed back. D lineman has leverage. He's able to even jump too. And he gets right to him. All because he's standing straight up. And also mainly because Cedric Tillman can't get out of his route cleanly and falls down. And it's another busted play that ends in a loss. And it can't because we can't execute properly. We can't run a route properly. We can't block properly. And this is basically the story of the whole game for the Browns, which is why they only summed up 10 points. I get they got the touchdown at the end, but up until then, when the game was over after that last touchdown Gabriel threw. So they there's a reason why they can't score more than 20 points a game. Only twice in the last year, going back to last season. Because they just bad execution, bad habits, and just sloppy play overall. And that's the offensive breakdown. Now let's move on to the defensive breakdown. All right, so now we're moving on to the defense here. So let's get to some of these defensive cut-ups here I have from the game against Baltimore. And this is going to be the first touchdown Lamar throws to, I believe, Tyler Loop here. You can see number 16. He's going to motion down. And what they're going to do here, he's just going to run right around Cam Mitchell all the way to the corner. You can see right there. And he gets a touchdown. Now, so, I thought the play-by-play guy or the co-analyst to the play-by-play guy, calling the game, I thought he did a hell of a job here breaking this down. He pointed out immediately. You can see Cam Mitchell here. You see how his body is? He just gives him inside leverage. Right there. He gets caught. Bad communication here from these two. He's late getting out of covered him. So now he has inside leverage. So now Cam has to turn his body and run out. And why is that important? Because if he's able to force him outside, right, he's able to funnel him to the safety over the top, right? If he was able to get over there quick enough, again, I don't think his positioning here was proper. Right there, he should be right here and getting on his left side. But again, he gets beat going that way. You don't funnel him to the safety. You like to force him that way towards the safety. So again, he has to run that way. You funnel him to the safety. He lets him run right to the outside. Great play call from Todd Monken, because I think that's probably something they picked up on last week, because this is something I saw Cam Mitchell do all preseason, really not just last week, being out of position. You can see there, gets him inside leverage. He's able to run right around him. Safety can't get over there fast enough. Great throw by Lamar. Boom. And again, it's the little details, right? It's the little details, the awareness, right here. He just stands right there. Right here, he should be moving. His feet are just when every time you see a guy with just stuck feet in the mud when the play's already going, like right there, he's just standing still. He's flat-footed. When you're flat-footed like that, he's beat already because he's not. Look how slow. It's too late. He's giving them inside leverage already, and we're not funneling to the safety. We're just letting him run right to the outside, to the corner of the end zone. Excuse me, outside, but you know what I mean. Either way, it's a touchdown. I mean, it's just bad. It's just that's number one from the defense, and again, bad execution again from the Browns. And so here we go now. Let's go to the next play here on defense, and this is gonna be the big hitter to DeAndre Hopkins on an extended play where Lamar's gonna roll out left here and throw it downfield to him at the 1. Initially, it was called a touchdown, but they said he was down. He didn't. It was reversed that he was down at the 1. As you can see here, D-line kind of loses some containment. He's able to get out of the pocket and throws a pass downfield. Great pass by Lamar, number 1. But let's take a look here at Greg Newsome, if I'm able to. All right. Let's take a look at Greg Newsome here. So Greg's going to be at the top of the screen here on DeAndre. As you can see right here, DeAndre pushes off, gets out of the break, though. Greg does a nice job recovering. He stays with them. But right here, I feel like Greg kind of gets caught watching too much. He's watching. He's got hands on him. So, again, he's watching. But, again, right there, you can see where his hands are as a DB. You want to get that right hand out, and he doesn't. He kind of just gets looped out, and or not looped out, but he kind of, let's take a look there at the end. What is it? Right here. You can see he kind of just falls down, really loses his footing. And that can't happen as a DB. You can't allow that to happen. Now, this stuff happens every now and then, but I feel like if he's able to just get a hand in the passing window, put your right hand down. You can watch his hands. You know where, as a DB, you look where his hands are. You put the hand, if the ball's going there, it's where he wants it. Again, he does a nice job staying with him, recovers well, but right, get the hand out right there. Get your right hand down. You see where his hands are, put your right hand down. He does it. His right hand, he gets flung all the way around, and they get a big play right down at the end zone. Again, it's the little things. It's the little details, right? It's the little details, right? That's all I could say. It's the little details because little things like that where you know you got to get your hand out in the pack. Wherever as a DB, when you see his hands, he does a nice job. Stay with him. When you see his hands right there, you got to get your right hand out where his hands are. Take that passing lane. Take that ability for him to catch the ball away. He just gets flung around, and I didn't think he did a great job at the top of the route too. Going back to that part right here, where DeAndre kind of just reroutes him a little bit, or he didn't reroute him. DeAndre just was able to go where he wanted. Right here, you can't allow a guy to just push you off. You can see his footing though. His body placement to me is just a little off. His momentum's going that way. Great job by the receiver setting them up, but I don't think you can get caught in that position. And he gets caught in that position a lot, and he does a good job recovering. Right, he runs with them. I feel like right there, they should already have a hand on him before he starts to go up the field. And again, right there, you got to get a hand in that where his hands are. You know they're going to throw it in here anytime they're going down the field. You watch his hands. I feel like this time he does a good job. Just attention to details is not there on that play. And they're able to get right down there at the 1 yard line. Can't get a hand down where his hands are, his right hand, and he just gets beat. Beat to the ball, beat off the break, and let's go to the next play. One thing I've seen from people on the internet, I've been saying it for a couple of years too. A lot of you look at our perimeter players on both sides of the ball. A lot of them just look kind of slow compared to who they're guarding. Like again, you got Zay Flowers here in the slot. This is the first play of the second half. He's gonna get a big play here right in the middle, and he just how fast he is. But again, I feel like we don't have the speed at times to match these guys. And as you can see right here, he's going down the field. Greg's with him, and he's just able to turn, and he's wide open. I mean, there's nobody in the area. because I just think we don't have the guys that could stay with these guys consistently outside of Denzel Ward. Denzel can go stride for stride, but a lot of these guys, and they get put in these situations, and now, boom, they got a big play. And the other thing here, again, going back to fundamentals, Ronnie Hickman, this should be a tackle, or at least a pass breakup, maybe even. I mean, just bad angle, bad fundamentals. I mean, that can never happen. I think Newsome does a nice job, though, keeping his leverage. Um, but, I think there's a lot of plays where I watch, I feel like we just look a little step behind there, like there. Again, Ashley Zay Flowers is very fast, but I think we just have guys that just look like they're not able to fully stay up with these guys. But he still does a nice job getting them, going to you should expect your safety to be there to make a play. And he just doesn't make the play. I mean, let's look from the end zone view here, where we can see it more clearly. The secondary, again, they're just not very good in man coverage, bad communication, as we've seen. Going back to the preseason breakdowns I was doing, but just we can't even tackle. You just hit him. But he's running with his arms flailed out, like he's looking up to the sky. That can never happen. That could have been a pass breakup. He should at least hit that guy, and should have been down right there. He's able to get extra yards out of it. Again, it's just little, like I said earlier, the little details. That's not even a deep. That's just a basic thing, knowing how to tackle. I mean, taking bad angles and just going with your arms flailed out, that cannot happen. But these little plays like that turn into big plays for the other team because we can't do basic things as the Browns. As the Browns just can't do basic things, and it's a problem. And so going back to the speed discussion I was just having with you guys about how I think sometimes our perimeter guys, not only just defensively but offensively, but defensively, they can't stay stride for these guys, and a lot of times they just get beat right off the top. And this exact touchdown play right here reminds me kind of similar play to going back to the preseason game against the Panthers, I believe it was. They ran this with Ted McMillan against Cam Mitchell on a same route concept in the back of the end zone here. And the same result happens here, and now we're in the regular season. And that was what, a month ago, that preseason game? And you can see right here, Cam just no hands on him. Like right here, at least this DB right here, he's got hands on the guy. He's staying with him, jamming a little bit. He's not jammed him at all, and he's just running scotch free. I mean, he's wide open. I mean, he is so wide open. I mean, he just keeps running, just wait for the ball to get to him. Easy. It looks like it looks like just, playing, throw and catch in the backyard. Let's go back to the beginning of the play here. Cam Mitchell, again, just gets beat right out the top. Just beat right out of the break. Doesn't get hands on him. Doesn't try to jam him at all. And you can't run stride for stride with this guy. And the guy running is Devontae Walker, who's not even their starting receiver. And he's just the speed. They're just faster than us. We can't run with these guys. Look at him. He just looks like he's slugging along, trying to catch up to him. And his positioning from the top of the break, or excuse me, from the line of scrimmage, was just right there. Just, ugh. It's just little. We don't do the fundamentals well on both sides of the ball consistently. And I just keep going back to practice habits. And then I also look at the GM too with the personnel. I mean, we got this DB out there still. This guy got beat like this all preseason. We rolled into the season with him. When I could argue that Tony Brown, the veteran, had better preseason tape than him. At least he was more physical out the line of scrimmage. That guy, he just ran scotch free like it was nothing. Unbelievable. So here we go again. Greg Newsome here on another extended play, not able to stay with his guy. The last play, he couldn't stay with older DeAndre Hopkins. So here he is now with Zay Flowers, their best receiver, who's fast, obviously. And you can see right here, Zay Flowers. You see Lamar. Number one, we lose containment from the D-line here. Lamar's able to escape out of the pocket. And he gets outside, breaks a tackle. Well, kind of breaks tackle. This is a hell of a play by Lamar, able to get the throw off. But this should never happen. But I just don't watch stride for stride here with Zay Flowers and Greg Newsome. Right there, you just, again, that's kind of the same thing DeAndre Hopkins did to Greg Newsome on the last extended play. Just kind of Bates just threw him off of him. Just get off me. Where's the physicality? Where's the, you know what I mean? Like, why are we just letting guys run scotch free? And then what happens? Look at Zay Flowers. It looks like he's just doing whatever he wants. He's just running. Like, I don't think he's played freeze tag with Greg Newsome. And Greg Newsome just can't catch him. And he's able to come back, loop, doing what he should do, loop back to the ball so Lamar can get the ball to him. And easy pitch and catch, kind of. I mean, it wasn't easy for Lamar, but again, that should never happen. But because this guy's able to run scotch free, and Greg Newsome just gets thrown off his route again on another extended play right there, swiped right across him, and then he's running right past him. It's like, can he keep up with the guy? No. Another extended play, give it up, big play, and on Greg Newsome twice in this game. And so the Ravens clearly got the matchup they were looking for now, because now we're in the middle of the game now. This is the third quarter. This is beginning of the fourth quarter now, and they are up by 10. So they need to get a score here to kind of put the game away or get a more comfortable lead. And they're going at Zay Flowers. They got the matchup they want, Zay Flowers and Greg Newsome. And they're able to get the switch right here as well. As you can see right here, Ronnie Hickman is on the tight end here. Newsome's on the outside, but he's going to be guarding Zay Flowers because you don't want your safety running with him. You want you want your corner to run with him. And here we go. I believe, yeah, Ronnie Hickman goes with the tight end. And you can see right here, though, he doesn't really get any hands on Zay Flowers. And Zay Flowers just able to run scotch-free out of the break and catch the ball cleanly for a first down. Let's watch it again. He goes down the line of scrimmage, gets hands on him right there, but right there he's able to just flip right out of the break. And what you just wonder, is it a speed thing? He just can't stay stripe for stripe with this guy. Our DBs are just too slow to recover out of their breaks. You know, when they get beat off the break, they can't recover very well. Where you watch other teams that have just better secondary play, they're able to recover a lot better. You know, the guys are a little quicker, and guys can stay stripe for stripe with these guys. They have personnel that can do that. I just don't think we have that. I really don't. I think we're just a slower secondary than we need to be. We have bad technique, bad fundamentally, like the whole team really. And just plays like that happen. You know, that's 2nd and 8, and he gets a first down pretty easily. Honestly, watch it again. You know, he's just going to run out of his break here. Boom, just keep running. He's open. Bam. All Lamar's going to do is get the ball out to him. Great throw. First down. Yet again. And so here we go again. This is the same drive. This is when they get the touchdown here to kind of, in my opinion, seal the deal. Because after they scored here, I actually just turned the game off and enjoyed my Sunday. But you can see right here, watch Cam Mitchell right here, number 29. And Devontae Walker again, just running scotch-free, wide open. I mean, look at the separation between the two. It's not even close. All Lamar's got to do is put that ball right where he put it. And again, I think you just see they were just a lot faster than us on the perimeter compared to our DBs. And this is it right here. Just this guy, he can't even keep up. He is beat. And he's running as fast as he can. And again, just a lack of speed in the secondary to me. It's just they're a lot of, not only do they have the lack of speed, but then their technique a lot of times, their fundamentals isn't very good either. They can't tackle like we saw with the safeties consistently. They're not jamming guys. They can't reroute guys. They're letting guys get inside leverage. They can't funnel them to safety. And then they're just getting point blank just outran. I mean, this is not even close. Running scotch-free. No, can't get a hand on them because really I think it's just too slow to keep up with them. We'll watch it one more time. Again, can't get it, not even near them. Big separation, touchdown. And the Raven, Todd Monken went at that all second half. He went right at our DBs, got him in space, you know, right? Excuse me, they got cut out for a second. Got the receivers, you know, where they can get out in space, right? And get big plays and put our DBs in positions where they have to communicate and where they have to run stride for stride. And they just could not do it with their receivers. And I think you saw that in that second half. That's exactly what they did. Todd Monken saw the mismatch and exploited it. And that's why, going back to the offense, I can sit here and talk about the secondary all day, but it goes back to the offense to me. We're not playing complementary football. Our special teams is not that good, and our offense is not that good. Defensively is our best unit because our front seven really holds a lot of things together. We could take away a run and force teams to have to throw the ball more than they'd like to. But I think our pass rush helps out our DBs recover more in some of those plays where they get beat because there's pressure coming. But as a game goes on, good to great teams are going to make adjustments. And that's exactly what you saw happen in this game. When you cannot sustain drives offensively, when it's constantly 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, because you're first and second down, play calling, at times play calling, and overall really just execution. I can't just say play calling, really mainly execution, honestly, isn't there. I mean, and when I say play calling, I think some of their creativity and just we saw the deep shot to Isaiah Bond early on in the game. I'd like to see that more calculated to where you set that up to where you guys get more rhythm, then you take the shot. I think some of the route concepts could be a little different, in my opinion. I think they could have a little more creativity in their offense. I think their offense is a little stale in terms of just the execution of it, a lot of stick routes and just kind of basic. But the overall execution on just basic things is not there. And so a lot of times, first and second down, we're not on schedule. We're constantly third and long. And we're not a good enough. We're not very good fundamentally where we can execute any down consistently, as we saw in this game and on the film. And when you're constantly 3 and out, and your defense is holding up as long as it can, eventually, excuse me, good OCs like Todd Mucken and good teams like the Ravens, great teams like the Ravens, excuse me, with great quarterback and a great receiver like Zay Flowers, they're going to figure you out, and they're going to put you in situations off their adjustments. They're going to start exploiting those DBs because your defense is going to start getting tired. The front seven wasn't able to get as much pressure as they would like to, as they did early on in the game, because they were starting to get a little tired. You could tell. We did lose some containment sometimes in the pocket where Lamar was able to break out and get some of those big plays downfield. But eventually they're going to make adjustments, and they're going to figure out. And you're not, as an offense, as a team, you're not applying pressure to their defense, and you're wearing out your own defense because you can't sustain drives. You're not playing complementary football. And when you don't play complementary football, you get the result you get on Sunday, where you can hold it, the defense can hold it together as long as they can and do a great job taking away the run, but they do have weaknesses and personnel-wise in that secondary, and eventually they're going to get exploited as you keep giving the Ravens opportunities and allow them to, have more drives and more plays than you offensively. They're going to figure it out and make adjustments, and they'll start exploiting, and that's exactly what we saw here. And we had no counter for it offensively, none at all. And so another challenge this week against the Green Bay Packers. Going to be interesting. Another tough matchup for the Browns. I think if I'm the Browns, things I'm looking for, I just want to see basic fundamental things executed better. Can we, if we lose the game, can we at least lose, not by missing field goals and just basic things? Can we commit to the run, right? Can we lose a hard-fought game? I think Cincinnati was a hard-fought loss, but just a lot. They shoot themselves in the foot a lot of times, and I think that's what I want to see taken away. Can we not shoot ourselves in the foot so much? Can we be more consistent as a team and dominate up front on both sides of the ball, which we are defensively? Can we do it offensively? Can we run the ball more? Commit to the ball, running the ball more? Calculate more of those shots downfield. Score more points in the first half. Can we score over 20 points for once? Can we do that and maybe lose by 2? Or I think you'd win the game possibly because you haven't done it. We don't know. Maybe, hell, a couple of these games you might have won, especially Cincinnati. You should have won that game. Can we play complementary football in all 3 phases? That's what I want to see on Sunday. And if I don't see change, then I'm going to keep questioning what is going on during the week. Are they making adjustments? Are they correcting these things? Like, what is going on at practice? Why aren't these things being corrected? Why are they happening over and over and over again? And so we'll see what happens. Looking forward to Sunday, though, because I want to see how they respond. And so if you like this, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Gone.